everybody, welcome to the show. Now, the first thing I've got to do is ask you, can you hear me okay? I've had trouble with computers and I'm having trouble with the microphone, so I'm actually going back to my original microphone, which is the old blue one. Yeah, I just hope everything's working fine. So obviously I know you'll tell me if there's a problem. The next thing I need to say is thank you so much for last week, the support, guys. After 24 hours, last week's stream was the most successful diamond painting show that I've ever done, except for the first 3 shows. Now, the first 3 shows, I'm comparing 24 hours worth of viewing against every view ever on the first show. So the previous, a month ago show would have had a month's worth of views, and 2 months ago would have had 2 months worth of views versus 24 hours. Yeah, looks like, thank you so much for the support. As you know, I was so nervous. I had no confidence about doing this on my own. This is why I'd asked Julie right from the start, because I just didn't feel I could broadcast on my own. A big, massive thank you to Smith's Bees, who are not a sponsor, but I do like to promote them because they do so much for me mentally and physically, which is what I think these groups are all about, is just helping and supporting each other. So thank you so much for making this show such a hit. I really appreciate it. Now, I have had a lot going on this week. I do apologize. I don't need to go in. I'm not going to go into too many details, but I've been tangled up with court things and legal things. There's been all sorts of things going on over something that happened a while back. Talking of which, look at my hair. I was looking at my hair the other day. I don't know if you know, but I'd got attacked and I had a big patch, and it's actually growing back. I'd heard somewhere that hair doesn't grow back for about up to 4 years. Anyway, that's something completely different. So basically what I'm going to do is we have word of the day. I also apologize. It's going to be a slightly shorter show today, and that's because I have an appointment to do somewhere else. I do apologize. It's just a continuing saga of things, not a saga, but just a continuing thing of stuff that's going on. What's happening this afternoon, I haven't even spoken to anyone about, because it's not anything to do with this. So anyway, basically I'm not going to be around. It'd be about an hour and a half. Well, I'll say an hour because you know what I'm like. I talk for England and Scotland. I can't exclude that now that I've moved up. In fact, I could probably talk for the UK. So I'll say an hour, but it's probably going to be about an hour and a half, because you know I'm terrible at signing off. So my phone's just gone mental. Bear with me a sec. I'm so sorry, guys. I don't know if that's what it was. Right, sorry. I just need to send a message. I feel such a lousy friend. So what happened is one of my friends from America said to me, I am terrible. This is absolutely awful. Basically, she's in America, so right now it's about 6 o'clock in the morning. And she messaged me this morning, and she said, can you message me here just before the show so that I don't miss it? And I forgot to message her. I should have messaged her about half an hour ago. So I've messaged her now. So you'll be seeing me eat a lot of humble pie if she pops on the show to chat. Okay. I'm not perfect all the time. In fact, I'm not really perfect ever, really. But I hope that's one of my little redeeming factors. Right, so I'll do a quick I'll do a quick chat catch up. Bill with Adrian. He wins my Gold Star Award for first comment. Let's see if my sound effects still work, shall we? Don't know if you guys remember, but years ago, do those sound effects still work? I can't remember if they still work. I have some really good sound effects, like that one. Anyway, I'm going to build the sound effects. I think it'll be really good. Do you remember like the old Radio 1 DJs? They used to have like Steve Wright in the afternoon. Anyway, Build with Adrian. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for being the first one to comment. Mike Tedstone. Hi, everyone. Do you know what? I'll give you the same accolade as Build with Adrian because I know there's some things going on with your day. So you being the second person to comment is at least equal, if not better, than anyone else making the first comment. So Mike Tedstone says yes. So I'm hoping that's to yes, you can hear me. And then Facebook user, I'm going to assume that's Teresa because it generally is. But if it's not, please accept my apologies. If you're commenting on the Facebook group, there's some kind of technical thing that you have to do to make your name appear. And as I can't figure it out, I'm not expecting you to either. But the same Facebook user says, can hear fine. Chris Davis World says, hi all. Great stream the other day. Really, really good. I don't know if anyone watched his Ecto 1. It's a bit of a double-edged sword in that he's building something where I'm a little bit further ahead. So when I watch his shows, obviously I'm not learning anything new because I've already done it, but it's at the same time it's equally entertaining because I remember where I struggled and I notice a lot of part work builders, I might struggle, say, on stage 2, and then they'll come along and they'll go, oh, stage 2, no problems. Oh, stage 3, I'm struggling. So it's really interesting to watch that. But he's done an awful lot of work on the engine, and I found the engine was really drawn out over. I mean, it's not drawn out, but it took a lot of weeks to do the engine. And then the engine is then attached to, is it called an A-frame? Subframe, something like that anyway, part of the chassis, and it's all starting to come together and it's really good. So Chris Davis says, hi Mike, how's you? Mike says, you look fine. Thank you very much. I actually brushed my hair today for the show. I thought I'll put an effort in. Facebook user, possibly Teresa, you do great anytime. Mike says, good Chris, thank you, how's you? Chris Davis says, good, thanks, Mike. Mike Tedstone, Teresa, what's the word of the day? Teresa hasn't been told what the word of the day is. Honest, I'm not fibbing at all. So, yeah, Facebook user, yes. I'm going to put a ton of comments. That's really kind of you and put me off my diamond painting. Chris Davis, yeah, it was awesome. Enjoyed it as well. And thanks, Penny. And then, oh, my lift of the day, Danielle Boudreau. Good morning, afternoon, all you beautiful peeps. Is it afternoon for you, or are you just saying that because you know it's afternoon here? Anyway, look, so I'm sorry to disappoint, as I say, because of everything that's been going on this week, which is going to be an ongoing saga until the 1st of July. And then after the 1st of July, I really don't know. Basically, what's happened is there's something going on, and what someone else's response is then depends on what happens after that. So if their response is what we hope it's going to be, everything will go really nice and smoothly. If their response is not, it's going to be lots of dragging through courts and things, but you know, and then hopefully life will get on with being normal. And I'll tell you a funny story that I've had. I've been really down in the dumps and I've just not done anything in the house. And my friend came round and I said, you know what, it's going to be great you come around because it's going to kick me butt into action and maybe I'll get something done. And what he did was he hid loads of cigarettes around the house. And basically what he said is, you will only find those cigarettes if you do the job that you need to do. So, for example, he put a cigarette in the cutlery drawer, and then I didn't actually find them until I washed up. And it was really nice because it's like, oh, great, I found a cigarette. I can, if I carry on doing, or, what will I find if I do the floor? And then what will happen if I do a bit of hoovering up? And I don't normally agree with bribery. Is it bribery? Would you call that bribery? But I've just been so down that sometimes I just couldn't even get out of bed. And hopefully I'm just starting to sort of lift myself up now. I don't want to tell you all about my depressions and things. I do apologize. But it's job hunting is progressing, as in I'm applying for stuff, and that's all I can really tell you. Other than that, I don't really know what to say, and I can't find this next drill. I'm looking for a letter U. Here it is, 168. So but yeah, I mean, obviously it would have been a better idea if instead of cigarettes, which are harmful, maybe he could put £5 notes. That would have been fantastic, wouldn't it? Do the washing up, earn a £5. Do the hoovering, earn another £5. That would have been good. So Danielle, how's your lovely dogs? Do you know what? I'd love to do a job where, I mean, she might get bored of it occasionally. I know everybody has good and bad days at work, but I would love to do a job where it just must be brilliant every single day. I used to have a job, actually. I used to work for someone, and it was a certain bus company, and I quite literally used to get to the end of the day and think, oh, do I have to finish now? I've just been told off by my friend for being late. I've just said good morning and they said you are late. So I feel awful. I do feel absolutely awful. If someone woke me up late, I'd be like, you didn't wake me up. So I am expecting a big air bashing. I probably won't, because this particular lady is she just takes nice and lovely and encouraging to a brand new level. So where are we? So Teresa T, that's a good idea with the cigarettes. Or maybe that's not Teresa. Maybe that's aimed at Teresa. I don't know. Mike Tedstone, cutlery. Did I say cutlery or did I say something else in my weird Norfolk accent? Facebook T, that would be more encouraging. Danielle says they are doing good here. Thanks. And hello, Chris Campbelling. Hi, Penny and everyone. How are you? I had a job interview today. A lot more money, longer hours, but a lot better. Jim, do you know what? I'm going to be expanding my my job search to care work. I came out of care work a long time ago, partly because I am a bus driver, and having spent 5-6 years out of bus driving, I did miss it. And I know that if I leave bus driving, I will miss bus driving again. I had a message from someone after last week's show, and they said, about the buses and that, and I know if I turn my back on the job that I've wanted since I was 6 years old, I know it'll get to me. Equally, I'd love doing care work. The problem I had with care work is that you can't shut off at the end of the day, especially if you've got somebody ill. When you're doing palliative care, you are going to lose somebody, and you can spend weeks, months, years leading up to that fateful day, but it doesn't make that day any easier. And, you get a few hours off, and you're not really getting time off because you're just sitting there sad. And because you're not actually at work, you can't see what's going on. And, are they being looked after, after they've gone? And it's just really, really hard. And but I'm, at the moment and the trouble also with care work, it's one of those jobs. I think every care worker is a hero because they do the job for so little money, and I've never really heard anyone complain about it. You know, they work twice as hard as someone who's on twice the money, and you know, never once have they said, "Oh, I'm getting out of the trade because it's not enough money." You know, they do. Sometimes it's a convenient job for them. You know, I worked with a lady who used to just do mornings, and she lived literally 2 minutes from work, and she'd come in and she'd help everyone get up in the morning, and then lunchtime she was finished, and then she'd go and pick her grandkids up from school, and then they'd be around hers until her daughter came home, and it was just really convenient for her, and she, you know, she loved the job, but it's just one of those jobs. So yeah, big, what's the word I'm looking for? Big thingamy bobby. So yeah, love minis. Oh my gosh, did it take forever for me to get on to chat? Bless you. Love minis, I am so sorry for being late. Do you know what? I'm going to be absolutely honest with you. Just like last week, I really needed a bit of a pep talk from a really reliable friend. And I don't know if I told you about last week. I have more confidence than I had last week, but I had no confidence at all last week. And it was like getting 20 minutes before the show was due, and I'm going to cancel the show. I'm going to cancel the show. You know, I didn't think I could do a show on my own. This is why I've always had co-hosts. And I had this friend on the phone to me, and so today I messaged them. I said, "Is there any chance for a pep talk?" I know they're really busy, and and if they said to me, "I'm really sorry, I'm really busy," you know, there's no way I could have held that against them. But yeah, I'm sitting there going, "Oh," and anyway, we got talking, and we didn't really have enough time to finish the conversation. And yeah, so yeah, this is my telling off. Look, Love Minnie says, "And you didn't call me." So yeah. So I missed some chat. I do apologize. I meant the fiver being more encouraging. Yeah, fivers hidden around your house is always more encouraging, isn't it? Did I tell you guys about my little bit of luck? This is something that you hear about, but never actually happens to you. But I'm walking back from the shops, and I saw 2 blue bits of paper on the floor, and I nearly walked past them. I didn't really recognize them. And then I saw the number 5 on one, and I looked again, and they were 2 Scottish fivers. And I'm like, I just found a tenner. Now, I don't care what people say about picking money up. That's 10 quid. I'm picking that up. But it just got me thinking about English money is valid in Scotland, and Scotland's money is valid in English money is valid in Scotland, Scottish money is valid in England. But they do have their own banknotes, which are very similar. They're the same colour, but they're not quite the same design. And also, a lot of times, especially with the situation that's going on, we deal with plastic and paperless money. So really, I've not seen many Scottish notes. So I think I could be forgiven for missing it. But yeah, it was extremely welcome finding this note. Extremely welcome. So needless to say, I did spend half of it wisely, and half of it we bought junk with it, like chocolate or something. And I have no issue with that. You put some of it to use and some of it you treat yourself. I don't think anyone can blame me for that, can they? And I've got a bit of a weak spot for chocolates, which you're supposed to save the last one for someone you love, which is interesting because many years ago I said I would never buy them, those and Yorkies. This is a very long time ago there used to be a chocolate factory in Norwich where I grew up, and they shut it down and made everyone redundant purely to move production to their main factory in York, just to save money. And what they actually made at the Norwich factory was Rolos and Yorkies, and it put thousands and thousands of people out of work, and a lot of people, you know, obviously it was a bad situation. But the local radio station, they do a thing. It's a charity for Christmas. It's all, you know, kids with special needs and that, kids that are disadvantaged and that. And what they tend to do, they do an annual auction, and they sell everything off, and all the money goes to this charity. And they actually asked this factory if they could have the last box of Rolos to come off the production line. You know, they'll buy them. If they could have the last box in order to auction it off, so someone can bid on the very last box of Rolos made by the Norwich factory. And they said no. And my little protest was that I was never going to buy another bar of Rolos or Yorkie ever again as protest of them closing the factory. And in my defence, that protest has lasted about 30 years. But now I've just slipped up a bit. But the company's changed names about 3 times now anyway. I think it was called Roundtree Macintosh, and then it was Roundtree, and then it was Roundtree Nestle, and then now it's Nestle, and I think it's now changed to just Unilever. And in case you didn't know, I think most people know this, Unilever owns about half of the world, and the other half is owned by Microsoft or something like that, or Amazon. So it's one of those. Probably guarantee you that at least a quarter of your products in your house right now are made or owned by Unilever. So yeah. So anyone been watching that event I'm not allowed to talk about, involving certain bunches of men kicking balls of air about into nets and bits of wood? I think it's been quite exciting, actually. Can you tell I've just run out of conversation? Right. So I'm just at the point now where I'm just picking up odd little bits now. Most of the colours that I'm doing are just not many of them. And then what I'll end up doing in 3860, what I'll end up doing is I now hit a corner, and then I work like a dolphin hunting. I go around the circles and I gradually get smaller and smaller. 3860. So God, too much light shining. Sorry, guys. If I get my head in the way, it's because sometimes the way the light works, I can't quite see the symbols. There we go. So I still have that problem down this side where the glue's not so so strong. Love Minnie says, men with balls and wood. Yeah, because football to you has a different meaning to us, doesn't it? You call it soccer. And I still don't get why football in America is called football when you don't even kick it. But, you know, I have an American father, and I always say to him, there's a lot of things I don't... Some things make sense. That's like spellings. My understanding is that the American language, if there's more than one vowel together, the one of the vowels gets removed. Like a good example is the word color. British put a U in it and the Americans don't. And that kind of makes a bit of sense to me, because the less letters a word has and the less unnecessary letters a word has, the easier it is to learn. And am I right in thinking people who have dyslexia, is it vowels that cause them the most problems? And the more vowels there are in a letter, the more problems they have reading and understanding it? No, Mike, don't bring that up. Don't bring that up, because now you've brought the word up, then I'm going to end up talking about it, aren't I? And I haven't spoken about politics since the Scottish elections. So, and I'm determined to not mention it. And I should have a hard and fast rule, really, shouldn't I? Anything that has an opinion that can be rather strong. I don't understand why sometimes things really get people going just because you don't agree with them. Or is that the way the world has just become? I don't agree with you, I am therefore offended. So, oh, do you know, I've just heard my door go. Bear with me one sec, because it might be actually something that isn't in a brown envelope. That'd make a change, won't it? Oh. No, it's not. It's my lovely lodger just emerged. I think she's probably been up. Oh bless her. She's I've introduced her to the world of poached eggs. She never had a poached egg before. So I did her two types of poached egg over a couple of days. So I'm just looking for the letter 317. Now I've got a proper little egg poach. It's just a little round tray. You crack the egg in and you just put it into the simmering water. And I did it like that. And I did this poached egg on toast with it. I said, try it without, but I think it's better with fresh cracked pepper on it. And she absolutely loves it. And then the way I was taught at catering college is that you crack the egg straight into the water. You have the simmering water. So it kind of, as it goes in the water, it's all, you know, all the white is all like, it's a bit like a jellyfish. And I did it that way. And she absolutely loved it. So, and then yesterday I got woken up with fried egg on toast. And isn't it really nice when you get a little relationship like that, where I'll do something for her. Then I've always said, you know, if you're cooking for one, you can always cook for two, can't you? And you know how these, when she first moved in, the basic rule was you respect, you know, normal respect, common sense, pay your rent on time, and that's fine. And then it sort of developed into she can help herself to my little basics, you know, tea, coffee, sugar, all the rest of it. And then, you know, if I'm cooking, I might offer her something. And then when she cooks, she offers me something. And it's, you know, now we're talking about pooling the grocery money. So it's, you know, it's developed really nice, and I'm really happy. Because I've had in the past a few night landladies from hell, I don't mind admitting. And one of the ones I didn't want to do is end up being a landlady from hell. But yeah, it seems we found the right one. Especially after the last prospective tenant we had. Oh, that just turned a bit funny. Sorry, bear with me. I'm struggling with this symbol. You know when you think you see a symbol? That's a arrow thingy. What do you call that? It's an arrow going backwards. Backwards arrow. There we go. 414 arrow. Yeah, we had a guy turn up to look at this at the room that I advertised. And I said, look, I haven't got a bed, but if you know, you can either get a bed and I'll knock off the rent that you want to pay. And he said, yeah, that's absolutely fine. And he gave me a little bit of money to get a bed sorted out in time for him to move out. And he said, if you need any more money, give me a shout. And he did insist on a brand new double bed. And I said, okay, fine. And obviously he said, I'll pay you rent when I move in. I said, well, you won't owe me much rent because you've already paid some with the bed. So anyway, so I started looking for the for brand new double beds. Turns out it was about £300, and I was trying to get it sorted out, but obviously we're losing my job. That became a bit of a problem. So I messaged him and I said, look, I'm really sorry. I said, I can't get you a brand new bed for the money. Is there any chance I can have some more? You did say you'd give me some more if I needed it. Then he sends me this message saying, oh, I don't want to move in now. I'm uncomfortable with you asking for more money before I've even moved in. And I said, okay, well, that's fine. If you don't trust someone, the worst thing you can do is move in with them. But in my defense, you did say if I needed any more, just ask. So then the next day he's gone, okay, yeah, right. He goes, all right, I do need a place. I'll move in. Can you get a second-hand bed? I said, yeah, all right. So I said, I'll get a second-hand bed. So I start looking for a second-hand bed, and I'm trying to get the absolute best bed that I can possibly find for the money, because, I know what some people are like. If he'd originally asked for a brand new bed, then it's obviously he's got a bit of an issue sleeping in a bed that someone else has slept in. And then 2 days later, which is about a week and a half before he was going to move in, he says, oh, I'm not moving in anymore because you've not been in contact with me. I went, what, for 2 days? So he just said, yeah, I'm going to send my friend round to get a deposit back. And I said, yeah, all right, fine, whatever. And that did actually put us off renting, because obviously when you have someone move in, you've got to think about the balance of the house already. And the girl that I've got in, she's lovely, and I really don't want that rocked. And I said, do you know what, we might actually be able to manage without a second lodger, and then I can move into that room. And then my YouTube studio, which is in the living room, I told you I found the attic, didn't I? Turns out because we're a top floor flat, we've got a bit of an attic. And when I say a bit of an attic, I mean an awesome attic. And there's power up there as well. So I'm looking at moving my YouTube studio upstairs, which means my living room can be used as a shared living room, which is absolutely amazing. So it's funny that when I first moved into this place, a couple of people did comment that perhaps it's a little bit expensive for the price. I think it's really cheap, because where I was living in Kent, you won't get this house for less than about £1,000 a month. Sorry, just bear with me a second. I'm going to do a catch up on the chat. Football. Love Mini, never had a poached egg. Do you know what? I would definitely recommend trying it, unless you don't like eggs. But I suppose poached egg has kind of come in favour a little bit more because they're a little bit healthier than a fried egg. But I don't see anything wrong with a little bit of vegetable oil. I love poached eggs more than fried. I tend to sort of get in the moods. I might eat fried eggs every day, and then I'll go off and I want poached eggs. Love Minis. Who doesn't own a bed? Well, it depends. If you rent a room and the bed is provided, then obviously when you move out, then you have no bed. So, I can understand, when I moved into this place, I didn't have a bed. And I had to buy one. God, that was fun and games. Because I was staying in the hotel for a month, I had to, I want to get everything ready for when I moved in. And I got this best second-hand bed, and I had it delivered to the hotel. And I got these 2 6-foot bits of wood that are padded pink, and I'm carrying them through the foyer, and all the hotel staff were making fun at me for this. And then I had the mattress come in, and then obviously when I moved out, it all had to go out through the front again. And it was funny as anything. It really was. So but yeah, I got there now. So I've got this horrible, ugly pink bed it just takes pink and sparkly things to a new limit. But all beds look the same when you've got your eyes shut at night, haven't they? That's the way I see it. So I get a good night's sleep on it. So that could be good space for all your models. Yeah, the only problem we've got with the attic, and I've got to be careful here, although there's plenty of space in the attic, the little hole in the ceiling is only like so big, so I can't get everything in it. So and obviously when you buy part works, you know, each week this is the size of the part work that's going to go through the attic, no problems. But when suddenly it becomes 4 foot by 4 foot when it's a finished model, you're like, oh, I can't get it out of the attic. So yeah, so that's something I've got to be careful of. And also with the bits of wood for things like tabletops, I can't get 4 foot sheets of plywood up there because obviously it doesn't go through the hatch. So I've got to be really, really careful. So I just thought I would, upstairs I will do smaller things, you know, things like the Fiat and the Jaguar, they'll go through the hatch. The bus, see again now the bus is going to be a problem because it's so heavy. Taking a heavy bus up a ladder is a problem. I mean, I don't like moving the bus, and it's on an absolutely beautiful base, but it's just the weight of it. And you know, I get me big strong friends and they say, do you want me to pick that up for you? I'm like, no, I'll do it. So Love Minnie says, oh yeah, eat eggs. Yeah, eggs are the original superfood, aren't they? They go on about all of these, what is it, goji berries and stuff, but eggs are the original superfood. Love Minnie says, I don't use oil for my eggs. My pan is slick. Yeah, this is why I use non-stick pans, because you tend to use less oil, but I actually use spray oil now, especially that garlic one. I've got a thing about garlic. And then Love Minnie says, like building a boat. I've just realised, Love Minnies, your spelling is different. Have you got a different YouTube account? That's really weird because you're called Love Mins and used to have an image then. Anyway, like building a boat in the basement. And now all I can think of is NCIS, because didn't Gibbs used to build a boat in the basement? And I've often looked at that and thought, well, how's he going to get it out? Could do the bus downstairs. Yeah, well, this is one of the little problems that I'm going to have to sort out. If I have all my filming equipment upstairs, how do I film the bus downstairs? Unless I bring the Chromebook down, or I film with the Chromebook upstairs, or maybe get, I don't know, massive network cables. But is it possible to control the computer from two different keyboards and mouse? So if I had the computer downstairs but had a lead running upstairs with the monitor, and then obviously monitors downstairs, could I then have a keyboard and mouse upstairs and then have all the filming equipment coming through that particular monitor, and then when I'm downstairs change the settings so that it all comes downstairs? Is that possible, or am I sort of in the realms of can't do that with a computer, Penny? I don't know. It's but these are all these. I like to say I'm quite good with the problem solving. I mean, the last place I was at, it's like I'm in a really tiny room and I've got lots of stuff to do. Let's see how I can put it together. I just forgot what color I'm doing. F. So yeah, I will come up with a solution, but give you an idea how good my attic is. The amount of usable space is actually more than the entire room I had in the last place. So I really want to make use of that. But I spoke to the landlord about using it. He says, yeah, you're welcome to use it however you want. But bear in mind, we don't technically own that attic, which is really weird because no one has access to that attic. So Love Minnie says, yeah, has been since 1990. Takes software to work really well. Okay. So it might be easier then if I don't know. Maybe if I can get myself, well, I say get myself a cheap computer, cheap second-hand computer, but I've done that before, and I've always gone for what I call a future-proof angle, which is you get the best you can, and then you probably won't have to buy a new computer for a long time. I mean, my last laptop I had, that was about 4 years old when I bought it, and I think I had that for about 5-6 years, and it's, as far as I'm aware, it's still in use with Build With. I gave that to Build With Adrian, and he's still using it now, and it's a reasonable computer. And it was, but I was told it was a reasonable computer. So it's, you know, it's how you, by having something that was really good to start with, it just makes it more future proof. So buying a cheap computer, maybe not the best idea. Guys, what I'm going to do here is, although I haven't, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, right, although I haven't finished this square, I want to just start on this next square, because I've got the issue of it's not so sticky around this bit. So if I can come in around here and then start closing that hole up, and then obviously as we get like this P here, there's some P's in here. So as I hit the P's on this square, I'll then fill those ones in. Obviously there's probably about as many systems of doing diamond paintings as there are people doing diamond paintings, but I do like to normally try to get a square done, and I've got an awful lot of catch up. Why did I not think of that, Chris? A long Ethernet cable will work. Yeah, but that would require another computer, wouldn't it? But yeah, if I got, to be honest with you, I think my Chromebook would probably do the job. Oh, bear with me one sec. We've got just, sorry a sec. Hello. Okay. Are you in? No. Thank you very much. Guys, I am so sorry about that. This is the trouble with, obviously, I like to lock myself out, and not lock myself out, but obviously our postman, most postmen I've had, they seem to come at roughly the same time, whether the postman comes early in the morning or he comes late in the day, and that's how it is. It always comes at that time, and you get used to it. Our postman, he'll come at 10 o'clock one day, 5 o'clock the next, 3 o'clock the next, and you've got absolutely no idea if he's got anything for you today. But he's just given me a big box with the words model space written on the side. So, but I got a feeling one of my partworks is going missing, because I realised I paid for 2 partworks last month on the same day, and I only remember getting one of them. If I did get it, I know where I'll have put it, so I'll have a little hunt through there. But I got both payments went through. Model space are pretty good because when the payment goes through, you can normally set your calendar for when it's going to arrive. It normally will be like 3 days later, 3 working days. But again, today I've only had the one parcel. So, but I could tell you what's in the parcel. So I wonder if they've been sending my Jaguar parts either to the wrong address or not at all, which is odd, isn't it? I don't get Model Space. When I first started doing part works, we always used to complain about Harshett. Harshett had the worst customer service I have ever known out of any company I've ever dealt with. They were absolutely dreadful. And Model Space were fantastic. And now Harshett, they've changed the company they use for their call centers, and not everyone will agree with me, but I think dealing with Harshett is now a very pleasurable experience, whereas Model Space has gone complete opposite. And a lot of people are saying, I won't, people go, I won't deal with them anymore. I've got 2 models that I ordered. It was their Black Friday sale. So that was what? End of November. And they've still not dispatched it. And I keep saying to them, why do you take orders for something you haven't got stock on? So I'll just bring in that box in from outside. But yeah, they're and I understand that some people have had it worse than me. So, but is that how it goes with companies? You get one company you love dealing with and another company you really don't like dealing with, and then all of a sudden the good company deteriorates. I don't know. Right. So I'm now doing these very dark colors that look very, very similar to the last color I did. The last color I used was Black 310. And now this color is not quite black, 939. Is that a good name for it? I think it's like a really dark blue, but I'm just going to call it not quite black. And then the next color is probably going to be not quite as black as the last one that wasn't quite black. Yeah, I can see why they give them fancy names now. I'll just do these last couple, and I'll just see if anyone's been chatting. So Love Mini says, well, first of all, Love Minis agrees with Chris. Ethernet cable would work. Love Mini says Chrome has enough memory. Yeah, the cooking shows that I did, I think it coped quite well, really. But what I did do, my Chromebook runs really, really slow, but my internet is really slow. Really disappointed with my internet, and it is further away from the hub than it normally would be. The hub is in the living room, and obviously the Chromebook is in the kitchen. But yeah, it copes quite well, doesn't it? So Chris Davis says, for broadcasting, use the best machine, then use a long Ethernet cable to make the quality better for that device. Love Mini says, my mail comes from 3 p.m. till 10. That's more like Amazon. Well, Amazon is any time from really early in the morning to anything up to late at night, really, isn't it? But at least with Amazon and DPD, actually, I do like DPD because they tell you within an hour when they're coming. And it's like we'll say, right, we'll be here between 2 and 3. And it's a really serious deal if they deliver at 3:01. Or 1 minute late, and I used to work for DPD, and oh, God help you if you deliver a parcel early. I have actually been at deliveries like where maybe they've got 2 separate deliveries, and I've got a little bit ahead of myself, so I'm right at the beginning of my time slots, and then they might have one that I've got to deliver between 2 and 3, and the next parcel has to be delivered between 2 minutes past 2 and 2 minutes past 3, and I've delivered the first one at exactly 2 o'clock. And then I've got to sit there, and they're going, well, can I have that one as well? And I'm like, no, you can't have it. And they go, why not? I said, because you can't have it till 2 minutes past 2. And they go, what are you on about? I said, no, I cannot deliver early. If I'm so much as 1 second early, I'm actually in serious trouble. And you can understand why they have that ruling, because they're trying to deliver a promise to the customer. But at the same time, you know, sometimes it takes it too far. But then they would argue that if I'm doing it that way, you know, if I'm too early for my delivery, then maybe I'm managing my round properly. So, you know, it's how you go. So Love Minis, tire blue, coal black. And I think that's Teresa. I'm working with 939 at the moment. It's got like a hint of navy in it with the black. Yeah, I think if you catch it just in the right light, it actually looks quite blue. But this color that I'm working on here, you can see it better in the camera. Actually, it's a really dark green, a really, really drab green. Shame we don't tell you what the actual colors are without me actually looking it up. I could look it up and tell you, but would it really improve the show if I told you the exact name of the color? But I think most people are quite happy to work on colors, aren't they? I know that at most basic level, you know, if you said to most diamond painters, oh, I've got a lot of 310, they know exactly what you're talking about. And white is the other one I'm not overly keen on, but at least white sparkles a bit better than the black. So, but yeah, I do prefer where you can actually tell what the color is. But that's really nice. Where you're putting a really dark green next to a black, it actually works. It makes both colors work harder, if that makes any sense. Did I just pretend to be really knowledgeable with art then? Right. So I think this bit is going to be the ear, because where the black is coming up. So I'm really looking forward to get this, but I'm looking forward to being able to get this cracked on. So Mike Testone says a word attack, or did you mean word attic? Love Minis, USPS doesn't make promises. Do you know what? I have not had that many dealings with USPS, and obviously most of the times when I've used them, it's coming from the US, not to the US. But I don't know how this system works, but I sent something to my dad once, and it must have circumnavigated the US about 2 or 3 times. And it's really funny because it looks like, unless it's because he's that side of the country, everything comes into New York. JFK, I think they've got a sorting facility at the JFK. And then from New York, it then goes out somewhere else. And then it goes somewhere else and somewhere else. And that makes a lot of sense. Because like if I get anything delivered to me in Scotland or Glasgow, it first of all comes into a central hub in Scotland. Then it goes from Scotland to, or I don't know, so it might come in, I don't know, let's say Edinburgh. Then it will then distribute to a more local sorting centre that deals with the county rather than the country. And then it goes to my local sorting office. And then obviously when I deliver anything, it goes in reverse. So your parcel has probably hit 6 different locations, and then that makes a lot of sense to me. But when you send something to the US for USPS, it'll go like New York, Newark, California, Alaska. You know, I don't know where it goes, but it just seems to go really weird places. So yeah. So Love Mini's more fun to guess. Now that is why. That is the answer, isn't it? USPS, they have a system that is designed to entertain you. So it's like, where is my parcel today? That could be fun. I actually I heard a story of someone that ordered something. It was a UK order, so it was like Southampton to Manchester, we'll say. And it was correctly postcoded and everything, and it somehow got on the wrong plane or something that went to Holland. So then obviously they realised it wasn't destined for Holland, it was destined for the UK. And then it got held up and they wouldn't let it leave Holland or whatever country it was because a customs charge they hadn't put a customs sticker on it. And the reason they hadn't put a customs sticker on it was because it was going from a UK address to a UK address. So it's... and then it ended up going to Belgium, and then it went back to the UK, and it took months to get there just because they accidentally sent it abroad. So Love Mini says you could open up your Twitch account and do like Julia Child and drink wine as you cook. I must confess, I don't know who Julia Child is, but is she? I think we did make mention of, was it Keith Floyd? Is it Keith Floyd who used to drink the wine as he cooked? He was well known for drinking wine. Mike says, looks like just me playing word of the day. And you seem to enjoy guessing word of the day. And then Love Mini says, Mike Tedstone, what's this word of the day? So what word of the day is, and I forgot to mention at the beginning, and I do apologize. What we do is we have a word, and I have to get that word into conversation at some point in the show. Now, normally when I do a 2-hour show, the rule that I have is I have to mention the word at least once in the first hour and at least once in the second hour. But today I've just made sure I mention it more than once because it's not going to be a full show. And then you have to guess it, and I win if you don't guess it, and you win if you guess it. So no prizes or anything, just a bit of fun. So we have got a word of the day today, and I have mentioned it. I think I've mentioned it 3 times, but I might be wrong. So that might give you a clue as to what the word is. And we used to have an incident where, not mentioning any names, Mike, but someone used to just like literally transcribe everything that I was saying in the hope that they would get word of the day, which I won't say cheating, but could be considered not quite in the spirit of things, I think. Opinion, not to offend anybody. So, right. So, guys, what I'm going to do, if you don't mind, I'm just going to finish up doing this colour, and then I'm going to start to wind down the show. Because, like I say, I'd love to do a really long show today, but I have to be somewhere a little bit later to do something extremely important. You never know, I might be rich as well after this, but I have for the last 4 years been saying I'm going to win the lottery Saturday, and I never do. So don't count on any hopes for anything ever. And you know how things change, don't you? So, right, there we go. I had a little stray drill. Oh, my something's just made a funny noise. Oh, it's right. It's my I forgot. I turned my PlayStation off this morning. I've been playing PlayStation this morning, and I thought I turned it off. I didn't actually turn it off. I just turned the game. What I normally do, I don't know if you know anything about PlayStation. You can close the application, or you can close the PlayStation. And I obviously closed the application, so it's actually been on all this time. And I think judging from the fact there was a box in the top left-hand corner, I have a setting that says alert when friends come online. Chris Davis, I don't know if you knew that, because it's quite funny, because I'll get a little alert that says Chris has come online, and then I'll get a text message from Chris saying, I've just come online on the PlayStation. I'm sitting there going, yeah, I know, it just told me. So it's quite funny, but yeah, we probably spend a bit too much time on that, don't we, Chris? Chris doesn't play as much as I do. We've been playing a game, and he's gone from like level 15 to pushing on the door of level 100 in 2 or 3 weeks, and I think that's kind of saying, it's sort of telling us that maybe we've been playing a bit too much. So but you know, if it chills you out and relaxes you, I really can't see the problem. And it's who was that then, says Mike. What, you mean the person that came on the PlayStation? If that's your question, I actually don't know, because I caught the box as it was disappearing. But to be honest with you, a lot of times, a lot of the friends I make on Facebook are specific game related. And then what happens is, for whatever reason, I don't play that particular game anymore. And then I just don't really sort of cross paths with them anymore. But because I've still got them on the friend list, they're still on there. I mean, a good example is a lovely guy from Wales. We used to just call him Sheepy. I used to play a browser-based Football Manager game, and I met him on that, and we were good friends and that. And we just sort of exchanged PlayStation names, and we haven't spoke to each other in ages. It's just, you know, more of an acquaintance than a friend. And then things like the FIFA games, because I tend to update my FIFA games every couple of years. And a lot of my friends, so like, if I play FIFA 1, for example, and then I don't bother getting FIFA 2 and they do, then obviously we don't play together. So it could have been Andrew popped on. Yeah, it could have been. I mean, I could go and look and see. Right, guys, so I've done a little bit. What I'm probably going to do, I keep promising you that I'm going to do a square. I'm going to kind of cop out a little bit, and I'm going to cut these squares in half, and I'm going to try and do a small square every day. If this was the only thing I was doing, then that's a really pitiful amount. But look, I'm going to be honest with you. I keep saying I'm going to do this, and I don't get it done because of whatever's going on. Sometimes good reasons, sometimes bad reasons. So I'm probably just going to cut these squares down a little bit. So I'll end up doing a quarter square. And there's nothing stopping me from doing more than one square. But obviously doing a whole square a day is obviously getting too much for me. Now my phone's gone mad. Isn't that funny? People don't message you for ages, and then suddenly, as soon as you're really busy talking to lots of really important people on your stream, people start messaging you. Right, guys, so I have a bit of an issue, and please, if I do this wrong, please do not take offense. There seems, I said last week I wasn't going to call out the streams on the spreadsheet. And I said the reason for that is it's becoming very confusing. There was a little bit of a backlash on that because someone took it as I'm not deliberately calling their stream out. And I can absolutely assure you that was not the case. Now, there's all sorts of weird things going on and things keep changing. So here is the basis that I am going to call the shows out. I have access to a spreadsheet, which I don't know how long I will have access to that for. Sorry, I'm just trying to move my light so it's not in my way for the screen. So basically the spreadsheet that I've been using if the show is present, I'm going to call it out. If the show is not present, I'm not going to call it out. And I've got another apology as well to make. So tonight we have Build with Adrian doing a part work show. He's doing Spitfire issue 65, and it says Terminator question mark 115. I don't know what the question mark is for. I'm going to assume that he's doing 115 if he's received the issue, but that's at 8 o'clock. Now, tomorrow, this is going to look awful. I did not mean it the way it looks. Horlicks normally streams on a Thursday at 7 o'clock, and he also streams on Friday at 7 o'clock. And what happened was his streams got taken off the spreadsheet. I assumed there was nothing streaming, so I've actually planned to do from 6 o'clock till probably about 10 or 11. I'm going to do some Spitfire catch-ups because I'm so behind on my Spitfire, and I was going to do the same again on Friday. And then Horlicks has now, his shows have now reappeared. So unfortunately that means that on Thursday, when he does Terminator issue 110 to 111 at 7 o'clock, and then on Spitfire 62 and 63 on Friday, I will actually be streaming my Spitfires at the same time. And I have actually spoken to Horlicks about this, and I have explained that that was in no way intended to stream at the same time as him. It was just that I saw a gap in the spreadsheet that I'm using, that I've always been told to use. And obviously I've made the stream. There has been a complaint before. Obviously you guys know why I wasn't streaming very much in the last couple of months. But one comment that's been made to me is, oh, well, that's just not fair on the viewers. So if anyone has seen that I'm going to be streaming on Thursday and Friday, and then I suddenly take them away, that's not fair on the viewers, to quote somebody else. So I've decided I'm going to go ahead with them. I'm losing touch with my part works, and the more I let myself lose touch, the harder it's going to be to come back. You guys have been absolutely brilliant to me last week. In fact, actually, I can see that I've got more viewers today than I had last week. And I really do thank you for that. And it's really boosted my confidence. So I am going to be doing the Spitfire shows. Anyway, I digress. Saturday, we have on both Chris Davis's channel and Chris Campling's channel, we have Jaguar issue 68 to 69, and that will be going out at 8 o'clock. On Sunday the 27th, according to the spreadsheet, there is nobody broadcasting live. On Monday the 28th, on going out on both Chris Campling and Chris Davis, we have Terminator issue 113 to 114. That's going out at 8 o'clock. Tuesday we have Build with Adrian, Build the Ferrari F40 issue 43, and in big capital letters it says the sound system, and that's at 7 o'clock. And then on Wednesday, according to the spreadsheet, the next show is going to be my show, Paint with Diamond show issue 44, and that's going out at 2 o'clock. Now, Love Minis, let me catch the chat up properly rather than flitting and choosing. Love Mini says, I have PlayStation 3. Could I play a game on Twitch? Anyone up on things? And no. Now, I cannot vouch for PlayStation 3 because it's been so long since I've used one. But with PlayStation 4, they have a little button. Let me get the controller because I do positions more than I do names. So if you press this button on the PS4, which says share, you then get an option come up to share to YouTube or Twitch or whatever channels you set up. And I've done that occasionally, more than one occasion. What I was thinking about years ago was with my FIFA, because I always play as Wickham, was you have this option. It tells you Wickham's next game coming up, and you can actually play that game out on FIFA. and I thought about playing that game. Just see, but the only trouble with that is I am a very casual player. I don't play for competition. I play to relax. Now, a lot of you is going to disagree with this, but I have absolutely no issues with putting FIFA on the absolute easiest level going, transfer all the best players into the team, coming home from work after a tough day, and then thrashing some team that I don't like 58-0. That chills me out. And on that basis, I'm going to carry on playing like that. So playing FIFA online on easy mode probably isn't really going to be entertaining. It's entertaining for me. But yeah, I know you can play on Twitch with a PS4. Sorry, I've got hiccups. I do apologize. I'm going to just solve that with a little mouthful of Vimto. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. You're going to have to look that up. I can try and help where I can, but Mike Tedstone, Alone 887 took me under the wing after you went. Oh, that's really nice. Now, can I mention this? Am I allowed to? I play a lot of Red Dead Redemption, and we now have a regular core of about 4 players. Sometimes it's me on my own, sometimes it's 2 of us, sometimes it's 4 of us, and Mike and Andrew have come along, and they're now starting to play. So now there's a regular group of 6. Now the problem, I'm not going to use the word problem because it's not a problem. The way we play Red Dead Redemption is we are there to help the person who needs the most help. So the 2 new, what I call the 2 newer guys, our little core of 4, just before Mike joined us, we were helping them out. Now, once you get to a certain stage on Red Dead, money's really not an option, because you know what it's like with these games. When you're low level, you need basic equipment, and even though they got basic costs, money's hard to come by. And then once you get the better equipment, money's easier to make. And to give you an idea, I've got players in our group that are struggling to buy a £50 rifle or $50 rifle, whereas I've got $10,000 in my bank, and I just don't know what to spend it on. And I'm buying new outfits just to spend the gold. So we're spending, what we tend to do is we posse up. So let's say I do a trader run. Everyone in my posse then gets a share of that profit. And then we'll switch to another posse, and then they'll do a trader run and everyone gets a share. So Mike is earning like $250 from my trade run. But then obviously when you get someone who's a very low level, they need a lot of attention learning how to play the game. And it's a really good investment to spend that time, as you know, because once they've got to a certain level, they can then go on and do things, and then that helps you make money. So this, I don't know who Alon 887 is. It's obviously a player that we came across. And obviously I logged off at a certain time last night, left Mike on the game. I'm going to rephrase that, left Mike playing the game. And then obviously this player's helped. And that is why I love the game. There's a lot of people on the game playing Red Dead that are what we call griefers. And they're just out to spoil your game experience. But when you take everything into consideration, there's a lot more people who have respect, courtesy, etiquette, and they're there to help people. So, so obviously Mike's just come along and found some random person who has the right spirit within the game. So that's really nice to see. So Love Mini says, put the 2 shows together. Yes. Right. My initial gut reaction to say to that is it's going to be a little bit too complicated to do that for reasons that aren't obvious. However, it is actually a consideration. So I don't know what's going to happen at the moment, but I am actually going to be speaking to someone tonight, which may change things. But what I'll say is, yes, that is a fantastic idea, but no, it probably will not happen. So Mike says easy mod would still be too difficult for me. It depends on the game. I'm gonna call this out. When you were starting to play a couple of days ago, we could be forgiven for laughing at your gameplay, but at the same time, we have to understand that we were like that at your point as well. And now that we've been playing it for a while, we've picked the game up. We know how to do things. We just sometimes we're already thinking for other people. A really good example is sometimes we go into a situation where I might accidentally end up fighting against 5 different people at once. And I'm thinking, oh no, I'm going to die here. And then all of a sudden, I just see them all drop to the ground. And then one of my other teammates just comes around the side. And I'm like, thank you, you just saved me. And it's just where we've been playing together. There's 6, well, there's 4, the main 4, we all have a slightly different style of play. And when you combine that style of play, it works really well. And that's what we're hoping with Mike and Andrew, that they will have their own style. The weapons that we use are different. We favor different weapons. Yeah, and it's just, yeah. So, yes, when you was playing a couple of days ago, yes, I think some people could be forgiven for laughing at you, but really that's because they've forgotten what it was like when they were easy. I've almost forgotten the struggle of getting a medium trading wagon, and I've got a large trading wagon, and I've got the best horse now and the best saddle, and I've really worked hard for it. And now it's just, yeah, I'm just looking at things to spend my money on, but I know how to make money on it. And we're trying to get you built up so that we can get you into these other trades that make you more money. And then you will see for yourself, once you hit a certain level, it's just suddenly, it's very, very hard, very, very hard, very, very hard, going up to hard. Now it's very easy. And that's how the game goes. And I suppose that's life, isn't it? You can't make $1 million if you haven't got a penny to your name. But if you own 100 million, making your next $1 million is actually very easy. But it's just getting to your first $1 million. Anyway, I am rambling on now. Mike Tedstone says you and Horlicks would be good. Yeah, I will confess I do miss the days when me and Horlicks used to do our Wednesday show. But at the moment, I really don't know what's going on. Obviously, with me doing, well, the things that I'm doing, it's difficult. But this is the way things go. You know, life sometimes gets in the way of things, and things happen. And yeah, it's just, you know, things happen. So, right, guys. So I'm gonna switch my camera so you can see me, because I think the very least anyone can do is look at the camera when they're saying goodbye. So, right, guys, thank you very much for an absolutely wonderful show. And like I said, thank you. Last week's show, for the first 24 hours, it actually had more views than the total views on every show I've done, bar the first 3 or 4. So obviously I've done something right. It's a shame Julie can't be here to share that with me, but you know, she did say she hasn't got time to do a show on a Wednesday afternoon, and I'll totally respect that. You know, I've asked people in the past if they want to come on the show, and I appreciate that 2 o'clock on a Wednesday is a very difficult time for some people. I know Julie has a family, and at the end of the day, family do come first. I don't know the actual reason, but yeah, it's things happen. So here I am, getting a little bit more confident every day. So, you know, it's nice when you can make something good come out of a negative. This time 2 weeks ago, I really did not believe I could do a show on my own. And then someone kind of reminded me that I'd been doing the cooking show, which now that sounds crazy. I'm saying I can't do a show on my own despite doing a show on my own. And for some reason, I didn't even think about, maybe because I hadn't done enough of them for them to become ingrained, and, you know, but yeah, so thank you for the guys that have really been there for me and really given me a push. So I'm going to read this comment out because it's hilarious for me. So Mike Tedstone says, took me 2 days to learn to wave. Now on Red Dead, you've got these emotes and you can wave. One of them is to wave to someone. And most players tend to use that as, I have no intention of trying to hurt you. I'm just here because we are passing. But Mike, it involves a couple of buttons and you've got to be in the right position. And he says it took him 2 days to learn to wave. Now, if you take that comment on its own without any context whatsoever, that just looks really, really funny. But can I give you a bit of a confession, Mike? It took me 5 days to learn how to wave. So if you think you're really terrible at the game, you're 3 days ahead of me on waving. So Facebook user, I'm sure you will find a guest soon to join you, although you have built up more confidence over time. Yeah, by having a second person, it really does help with the flow of the show. I did notice a couple of times on today's show where I paused. I wasn't talking because I couldn't think of anything to say, so I just kept going. And by having a guest, not only does it plug those gaps, but where I'm talking about less interesting things, they could take over with a more interesting thing. And obviously it lifts the interest level up as well. Not only does it keep it going. So Mike Tedstone is asking for the word of the day. I'm going to wait for 10 seconds for everyone to just plaster a word of the day, because give them a last chance to guess. And I will confess my word of the day was rushed. Sometimes I take a bit of an effort to make the word of the day. Sometimes I ask Alexa to help me with a word of the day. Then she comes up with about 3 words that I can possibly use in the conversation. So then I find a Wikipedia article and I just pick a random word. But today I found a very old leaflet on my table and it was just sticking out from underneath another piece of paper, and I could just see the one word and I just went, that will do. And I will hide that because there's certain subjects we don't like talking about. What the day today is, if it's anyone guessing, is that, well, Scotland. It's an old election thing that's been sat there for about a couple of months. So yeah, word of the day, Scotland. I know I've mentioned it once. There was another time I think I said Scottish, so I won't count that as mentioning it. But I did deliberately go on about the mail system and saying how the mail comes into Scotland, or I mean, you know, Edinburgh. So I did say it enough times. So right, guys, so that is me finished. Thank you very much for watching. I really, really do appreciate it. I'm going to be on again tomorrow at 6 o'clock. So I'm going to have myself a nice early dinner. In the meantime, I've got a box to open, which I don't for sure know what's in it. For sure, that's Irish, isn't it? For sure, for sure. Was that being naughty, saying that? Stereotypical words, I don't know. Anyway, there's a box for me to open. I suspect it's my fear because my Jag doesn't seem to be coming through. So I will be opening that. But I'm on tomorrow at 6 o'clock to do Spitfire. Now, what I'm going to do as many issues as I can in the time, but I really am not rushing the issues. I do believe if you rush an issue, you start to make mistakes. I'm going to be like Chris. Chris does it nice and carefully. He may take longer than everyone else, but he gets it done as well as he can. And, you know, if an issue should take me 10 minutes, I might take 20 minutes. I might do it in 5. I don't know. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do, I don't know, how many issues can I get in 3 or 4 hours? It might well be that at 9 o'clock, I'm starting to get tired and I think, you know what, I can't manage anymore. I'll just finish this issue. And then on Friday, I will start from the next issue and I'll do the same again. We'll see how it goes. But like I say, apologies to Horlicks. I did not know he was streaming when I set that up. I saw the spreadsheet. I saw he was streaming. Then the next day, this show had disappeared off the spreadsheet. So I took advantage of taking a blank. So I don't want anyone accusing me of trying to stream over anyone else's show. But I have already explained to Horlicks what's happened, and he appears to have accepted my explanation. Yeah, unfortunately, but I'll say I'll have a little message with Horlicks, and I'll see what he thinks. And it may not be the best idea us combining our shows because, well, let's face it, one of those shows he's not even building a Spitfire, and then on the other show he's building a completely different issue of the Spitfire. So, you know, who knows? But yeah. So Mike Tedstone is saying Lodger Carer Scotland. Yeah, you got there eventually, but you got there, Mike. Right, guys. So yeah, I've got to disappear. Thank you very much for watching. I promise you I will see you next week. Well, I won't promise actually, because you never know what's around the corner. We might get a big hurricane that blows my house away and I'm not able to. But barring any emergencies, I will catch you guys next week. And hopefully I'll have more of this done. So take care, guys. Bye-bye. And I can't remember how to do. Sorry, I need to say a big thank you. I've actually changed, although you won't necessarily see anything different. I'm still using StreamYard, but I'm using a different StreamYard. It's a different StreamYard account. I would like to give a massive thanks to Chris Campbell and Chris Davis, who's helping me out with this. Right now, it's saving me a lot of money, and it's just really nice. I hope it helps them because it saves them money. But thank you, guys. At a time when I was having problems, you know, you've both jumped in and helped where no one else would or could bother, and I really appreciate it. So take care, guys. I'll see you. Well, hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. But if you're only in it for the diamond painting, I'll catch you next Wednesday.